The Old Man, Chapter 6. Charlie stood on the sidewalk nervously. He looked up and down the street, expecting to see the strange old man. There was nothing to see, though. He was gone. Thank goodness for that. A few moments later, Winifred bounced out of the house and hurried to Charlie's side. Even there, she continued to bounce on the balls of her feet in excitement. "I'm ready, Charlie. Are you ready?" she asked hurriedly. He took one more look both ways before feeling confident enough. Yeah, I'm ready." She beamed and grabbed hold of his hand, only to have him spin about and pull it from her. "What are you doing?" "Mom said you had to hold my hand," she explained. "You don't need me to hold your hand," he grumbled. "Charlie, I want to go to the carnival," she whined. She then lowered her voice. "She's watching from the bay window, Charlie. If you don't hold my hand, she's going to come out and get mad at us." Charlie wrinkled his nose and faked a stretch to look towards the bay window. Sure enough, he could see Mom there. She had no expression and simply watched. "Blast it!" "Do you want to hold my hand?" he asked quietly. "No," Winifred huffed. "To the end of the block," he suggested. "Agreed," she said with a nod. And that was that. He offered his hand and Winifred took it. They plastered exaggerated smiles on their faces and waved towards the window. Winifred skipped as Charlie set the pace. It was a sickeningly sweet thing to behold, and practically diabetic to experience. As planned, once the house was out of sight and the corner had been turned, the sweetness ended. Charlie and Winifred released each other and exchanged a knowing nod for the successful ruse. The carnival was a bit of a walk, but nothing either of them disliked. They were active children, after all. They passed several homes before reaching the main street. Now they passed primarily businesses, such as convenience stores, an ice cream shop, a video rental, just to name a few. As they passed by one small grocery, a familiar figure exited. He looked at a small piece of paper and then tossed it in the trash bin. Charlie and Winifred froze, but it did no good to go unnoticed. The strange old man noticed them right away and offered a kind smile. "Good afternoon, children," he greeted politely. The siblings didn't answer him. That didn't seem to bother him, though. "Are you two heading to the carnival?" The pair looked to one another. This man was a stranger to them, after all, and they weren't sure about sharing such things. "I'm heading there soon myself." "You are?" Charlie replied with a stammer. "Oh, yes. I have a job there to attend to." He reached into his pocket and held out a small package. "Either of you like some fruity chewing gum?" There was certainly temptation. Winifred took a step forward to reach for the package, but Charlie yanked her back. "I'm sorry. We're not supposed to take things from strangers, Mr. The man laughed. "Of course. How silly of me. Powers. Call me Mr. Powers." "Are you new here, Mr. Powers?" Winifred asked curiously. "No," he replied. "We've never seen you before," Charlie added. "I'm afraid I'm a bit of a homebody," Mr. Powers admitted. "I'm afraid I make people a bit uncomfortable." "Are you a monster?" Winifred asked. Charlie panicked and slapped a hand over her mouth. She fussed and glared at him. "Winifred, you can't just ask someone that." Mr. Powers lowered his head. "Some think so, I'm afraid. That's how it is in small, tight-knit towns such as this. They dislike those who are different from themselves. Maybe someday humankind will move beyond that." The siblings weren't really sure how to respond to that. Even in the daylight, he had a spookiness. His face was just so white, with eyes so black, and cheeks so sunken in. If not for the fact that he had lips, they may have mistaken him for a skeleton. That was spooky indeed. Such creatures were common features in Embrian fairy tales. There were even some old urban legends and folk tales about revenants in Keter Falls over the years. However, Charlie and Winifred had never seen one in real life. According to the tales, that was a good thing. It was hard to tell if such tales were true or just stories to frighten little children and superstitious old fools. True or not, and regardless of its accuracy, Mr. Powers had something about him that reminded the children of such things. They didn't like it, despite the man's kindness towards them. "We should really get going," Charlie suddenly said, as he gave Winifred a push. "We're supposed to meet Dad soon. He'll get mad if we show up too late." "Of course," Mr. Powers replied. He gave a polite bow and headed in the opposite direction. He walked a bit aimlessly, but Charlie wasn't about to question it. Perhaps their nervousness was all too obvious. Perhaps, in an attempt to come off less creepy, Mr. Powers chose to avoid going too close in the same direction as they were. Whatever the reason, it made Charlie feel better. It wasn't too long before Winifred peered back and then glanced at Charlie with a hint of confusion. She freed herself from his pushing and studied him. "Why did you tell him that?" "What?" "Why did you tell Mr. Powers that we were meeting Dad? Dad's not at the carnival." "Shush," he encouraged. "There's just something about him," Charlie admitted. "I didn't want him thinking we were alone. Maybe if he thinks Dad is at the carnival, he won't keep creeping on us. Besides, he doesn't know who our dad is, and we will know a lot of people there. We just have to make sure we stay with people we know." "Oh," she replied, just above a whisper. "I get it." "Right, so don't go off by yourself, and don't let on that we're not with our parents. You know, just in case." She smiled and saluted him. "Aye, aye, brother." That managed to give Charlie a bit of a chuckle. Another quick look round, and he felt a little better. He put his hands in his pockets and continued on his way with Winifred by his side.